Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow in 1999. Now, this is my first Tim Burton review on this channel, and this is a film that I've seen many times. I haven't seen it for quite a few years though, and yeah, I rewatched it tonight. Was hoping that it would be, kind of as good as I used to, remembered. Yeah, and it's not the most acclaimed film. A lot of Tim Burton's works aren't. Even Edward Scissorhands is not, doesn't really get it's not really got the acclaim that it actually deserves. But yes, Tim Burton is an interesting director, because what I've just praised there, is a lot different to some of his other works. He's made some great stuff, but he's also made some pretty bad stuff. And I'm mainly referring to two films, two remakes. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and in particular Planet of the Apes. I thought that was a dreadful film. It's actually, it's one of my least favourite films. It's just disgraceful on all accounts. And it's made some things that don't quite. I've seen that are not quite great films. Sweeney Todd though, I'm going to rewatch that soon. I did like a lot of stuff about that film. Of course it's very graphic. Maybe not comfortable viewing, but yeah, no, it was very interesting and quite artistic and everything, and yeah, I'll give that a rewatch and very soon. But yeah, I do plan on reviewing most of Tim Burton's works, at some point. But this was always been one of my favourites, of him. 1999, which is one of the best years in film for me. I keep seeing more and more films from this year, and it's probably one of the top 5 years in film for me, and the best film in that year is just, probably the most underrated film I've ever seen. But yes, it's kind of a gothic fairy tale set in 1799, and Johnny Depp's in it, Michael Gambon, many actors and actresses, Christopher Walken, who plays kind of the Headless Horseman, and yeah, it's just a stunning film, gothic but a fairy tale, and very violent, of course, and it's just kind of a blend of all the things that Tim Burton's great at, into just very unique film. And basically Johnny Depp is a police constable, Ichabod Crane, and he's sent from New York City to investigate this kind of village, because there's been murders reported, and yeah, it's based upon the kind of Legend of Sleepy Hollow, short story, and I just think it's a thoroughly unique film, and on this rewatch, it just made me realise again how much I love this film. I have to say, I love every single thing about this film. It's just stunning. I just absolutely love it. It's a film you kind of become obsessed with. Tim Burton's style, in particular, as well. We'll get started with that. Is stunning. Very atmospheric. And just yes, I love the exaggeration of a lot of things in it. But very at the same time quite grounded. It is a fantasy film. But because of his dark edge, it really makes it a unique experience. The visuals really highlight that. Just the way that the village is captured, very eerie. All the fog and everything. It's just the perfect kind of setup as well for this film, and just through the atmosphere, the visuals and stuff. It just feels kind of cut off, which is great because it adds to the kind of the horror to it. It just makes it kind of this this village in the middle of nowhere, and then there's all these murders going on, and of course, very early on you kind of find out a backstory to the the headless kind of horseman, played by Christopher Walken, of course, in when he's got his head, and yeah, it's just, I think one of the things as well that actual this character, the villain, is just so well portrayed. It's just the way, just the way it's shot, and the way that he's all the sword fights in the film as well involving him is just great. So well put together. But just his costume and everything, and just the way he picks off victims in this film is just really amazing. Very tense, and just thrilling. It's just really thrilling. Johnny Depp in this film, many people criticise Johnny Depp. He's not been great in everything he's been in. But you know, he's a great actor when on form. You know, and Donnie Brasco, Pirates of the Caribbean, which is still for me his best performance. Edward Scissorhands, he's remarkable in that film, and he's great in this. You know, he adds a lot of humour to the film, and he's of course the main character, the protagonist. And you know, as well, there's a kind of romance that goes on between Christina and Ricci's character, and you know, they have a romance that forms, quite a unique one. And then there's this kid as well that kind of he takes under his wing. Kind of helps him with the investigations and stuff. And you know, the investigations themselves are just so compelling. You know, it's just thoroughly absorbing, and just a treat to watch. You know, and get involved in this very involving narrative, and just constantly engaging. Tim Burton was just in full control here, I feel. You know, and it's just a thoroughly confident piece of work, and the narrative is just so great. You know, as well, just the intro, kind of the bits where he meets all the people in the village and stuff. It's done in a comedy way as well. You know, Michael Gambon's character, and you know, just all the characters there. You know, it's kind of like a parody of sorts of like period pieces and stuff. But you know, it sets up all the mystery as well. You can take that seriously, of course, because it's just a perfect tone. You know, and the comedy never downplays, you know, the actual drama and stuff. And yeah, the tone of this film is very unique. You know, a lot of Tim Burton's films are, but he's just really, the tone is so consistent, and he's just so, I think he's just so confident in what his vision, that it feels completely right throughout. You know, nothing ever breaks it, and you know, that's one of the most important things in a film, is the tone of it, and it's just perfect throughout, really. You know, and as well, everything else. You know, the costumes. You know, the music by Danny Elfman is stunning. I absolutely love the score to this film, and the characters. You know, it wouldn't be, you know, great if there wasn't great characters, and there is. You know, just stunning. Johnny Depp as well, he's a great protagonist, and just very, just an absorbing narrative, as I say. And you know, his arc is great, and as I said, you know, he just adds so much humour to the film, especially very early on. You know, when he's going about his investigations and stuff, and just kind of discovering, you know, the murders and stuff. It's just great, and of course, there's there's many twists and turns that goes on, and you know, different things that come about. You know, that I won't ruin, but it's thoroughly engaging in that sense. You know, it's just masterful storytelling. Yeah, masterful throughout, and the visuals are stunning. You know, visual storytelling just as much as it is, you know, of course, literate. And you know, the script is just wonderful. The actual the way that it unfolds is just perfect. And yes, the visuals are just so atmospheric, and very beautiful as well. You know, it's just every frame really is just wonderful to look at. But it's also, you know, it's got a feeling to it as well, and it kind of evokes a mood, and it just, you know, it's just the perfect balance of every element of filmmaking, really. You know, and everything works in this film so well, and just every act is just quite flawless. You know, you've got the kind of light-hearted comedy sort of in the first act, and then of course you've got more things coming to light. You know, different twists happening, and then you've got the final kind of showdown and stuff at the end, and it's just amazing. You know, the final act does not disappoint. Christopher Walken, of course, is a great villain. You know, when he is actually shown full form. And just the headless horseman, it's just so well designed, and just it's just the costume and everything, and as well the way that they kind of give the backstory to him, you know, this character, and the exposition of the flashbacks and everything is just, it's really mythic. You know, it's just wonderful. Kind of just makes it for a more of a legendary character, and yeah, just the whole as well, the kind of the side characters in the village. I really liked everything that went on there. You know, it's not a long film, so it doesn't, you know, it doesn't go in. It's not like an ensemble where it gives them all loads and loads of character development. But when it is there, you know, the characters that are involved, they get, you know, flawless development, and you know, their involvement in the plot, it's just perfect. It's just a stunning. It's a flawless masterpiece, really, for me. You know, and just I think it's definitely one of Tim Burton's best that I've seen. I've not seen massive amount of Tim Burton's. Maybe like 6 or 7 I've seen. But this is definitely, along with Edward Scissorhands, for me is best that I've seen of them. Of course, there's many I've not seen yet. I look forward to that. But this is just, it's a film as well that it doesn't. It's got many genres that it fits into. Mystery, kind of gothic, fairy tale. It's a horror. It's a thriller. Supernatural. It's a kind of black comedy at times. And it's just kind of a creature film as well. It's just stunning. There's so many different elements that Tim Burton balances out perfectly, and all the performances are great. It's Johnny Depp, Michael Gambon, just all of them. Even Christopher Lee's small appearance is great, and Christina Ricci is great in this film, and it's just all the relationships that happen. The friendship as well, the kind of the bond between Johnny Depp and the kid as well that he meets is great, and very warm. But yeah, of course, a very chilling atmospheric horror. Overall, this film is just so perfectly directed. The cinematography, as I've said, is stunning. It's really just absolutely masterful. You could take many different shots throughout this film and just frame it. It's just beautiful. But very it's full of emotion, full of atmosphere, and Tim Burton's style that he has, dark edge, kind of gothic sort of thing, works perfectly for this film, and it just adds to it. It's so much, and it's very unique. This is not like a lot of films I've seen. I think mainly because the way it kind of blends that fantasy with the gothic, the darkness that Tim Burton has, and also the violence actually as well. It's not, it's kind of like an adult fairy tale kind of thing, and it just works perfectly. It never breaks tone or anything. It never stops it from flowing in that sense. The film, the narrative, as I've said, is just so absorbing, and performances are stunning. Wonderful script, and very got a lot of places got emotional undercurrent, but it's just brought together perfectly by Tim Burton, and it's just a masterpiece. For me, I think I'd have to give this film 100%, no doubt. It's a stunning film. A film really I've always loved. I hadn't seen it for quite a few years, and I was hoping it would be just as good as I remembered, and it was. It's a stunning film, and if you've not seen it, check it out. Very unique. As I've said, there's not many, there's not really any film like this. It's just a stunning, a masterpiece of a horror, but also fantasy, and it's just full of great characters. It's great comedy, and it's just so epic. Just this headless horseman character, and the way that it just progresses and everything, and as well the ending. It just kind of comes together so perfectly. Wrapping up every different subplot and everything. And just a perfect build as well throughout, of that mystery. The mystery is maintained throughout, and not everything is fully answered, but most of the things are wrapped up. But the mystery early on, and it just draws you in. So full of atmosphere. Yes, it is. Some of it is exaggerated, but I love that. It is very theatrical. But I love that, and of course, if you don't like that, then of course that may play into it, but. It's kind of like Bram Stoker's Dracula. That only kind of added to the experience for me. But yes, this is just a stunning film, and yes, among my favourites of that year. 1999. But that, as I've said, that year is just one of the best in film. It's just that this is another one of the around about 10 masterpieces that I've seen in that year. It's just a wonderful year, and Tim Burton, when he's on form, he's an absolutely great director. He probably used to be better than he is kind of now, but based on what I've seen, but I can't wait to kind of check out more of his films now. Again, because I haven't seen a Tim Burton film for many years, but definitely look forward to delving back in to his filmography. But yes, Sleepy Hollow, a masterpiece, wonderful film. So thanks for watching my review of Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.